Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look down in Florida today as the Florida Panthers do not have Keith Yandle, the defenseman for the Florida Panthers, on the roster right now. Is it because he's not on the roster because Quenneville doesn't like him? What's going on? Keith Yandle has an Iron Man streak, and that is destined to be threatened right now if he is not in the starting lineup and is on the scratch pad here to start the season for the Florida Panthers. We're going to be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. And let's take a look at Keith Yandle potentially going to the Boston Bruins. Wow, so definitely a turning of the events here in Florida, as the Florida Panthers have announced that defenseman Keith Yandle will not be in the starting lineup for the Panthers this season. Now, what is going on with the Panthers? They have $2 million in cap space, and their defense seems to not include Keith Yandle, who still has another 3 years at over $6 million on his contract. So he's 34 years old. He's an older defenseman, but this is still a really important player on the Florida Panthers. And at 34 years old, he's still one of the better defensemen in the NHL, which is just absolutely nuts. He's been with the Phoenix Coyotes for almost a decade, the New York Rangers for a couple seasons, and since then has spent the last, going into this season, this will be his fifth season with the Florida Panthers. Last season, he put up 45 points in 69 games. The season before that, one of his record high the season before, just at 32 years old, 62 points in the 2018-2019 season. So Keith Yandle is not done yet. This guy is a really talented defenseman. So now it brings up the question, well, first thing you're going to look at, where is he from, and what teams would be interested in acquiring a potential Keith Yandle? Well, there may be just a perfect fit up the road in Beantown, as the Boston Bruins are Keith Yandle's hometown. Keith Yandle grew up in Boston, and it seems like the Boston Bruins may still be searching for another defenseman, especially with how they played the other night against the New Jersey Devils. Now, again, it's a small sample size. It's one game. But we've heard all offseason that they would like to bring in an acquisition of a defenseman to, we're talking about replacing Torrey Krug, but another top four defenseman. Because you look at what they've got, and it's not that it's a bad defensive core, but you add Keith Yandle to this is a much improved blue line. You've got Jeremy Lauzon and Charlie McAvoy as your top pair. Lauzon is still very young, and it's not that he's not a good top four defenseman, again, but if the Bruins are in win now mode, which you could argue they are because of Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, there is a window here for the Bruins. So win now mode is still efficient. As much as you want to develop the young blue liners, you also want to worry about protecting your own ass, and that's something that the Bruins have to do if they want to try and win another Stanley Cup. Matt Grzelcyk and Brandon Carlo are your second pair, and Jakub Zboril and Kevin Miller is your third pair. Again, I like Lauzon and Zboril, but we're seeing it right now in Colorado as well. Some of those younger defensemen, really big names, but they're struggling a little bit because they aren't that great in their own zone yet because they're still so young. They're still developing, learning the game. So a Keith Yandle comes into this roster, and there's a couple reasons why I think Keith Yandle would be good for the Bruins. Now, the first thing being, he's from Boston. So you've already got that argument. He's going to be a fan favorite pretty early on. He scores a lot of points. He put up 62 points, and he put up over 100 points the last two seasons combined. And the thing is, the Bruins, they could use another D-man. Now, the problem is the Bruins only have $2 million in cap space. Can they afford $6 million on the cap hit for the next 3 years? That's going to be tough, and especially with guys like, you still have guys coming up that are going to want contracts. Like this season, you have to re-sign Brandon Carlo. He's not going to be getting $2.85 million per season next year. He's definitely going to be getting a little bit more money. There's only 2 years left on the McAvoy deal. So at the conclusion of this season, there will be 1 year left on that contract. So can they afford a over 35 at that point, $6+ million Keith Yandle per season. Is that worth it? And not to mention, you're going to have some questions in goal because Rask is on the final year of his $7 million deal, and Yaroslav Halak on the final year of his deal with the Boston Bruins. So we'll see what happens. And not to mention, they still have guys they want to play in this, play in the lineup, like Jaro Vaakainen, who looks like a very talented young prospect. So the good news is David Backes' money comes off the books next season, but again, you still have to worry about this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Boston Bruins do. Now, the good thing is they could probably get Keith Yandle for pretty cheap. They could probably get him for a second-round pick, maybe 2 second-round picks for Keith Yandle, maybe even a third-round pick, maybe just 1 second-round pick. So the question is, can the Bruins move out enough cap space, and do they really trust their young defensemen? Because if they truly believe in the young defensemen and they're not going to be willing to put up that $6+ million per season for the next 3 years on Keith Yandle, maybe they just stick with the young guys and they ride this out. Or the more interesting conversation, do they bring in the hometown Boston native Keith Yandle? Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think we will see a Keith Yandle trade? And if so, where do you think he'll go? I think a lot of people are projecting he'll go to the Boston Bruins, but if it's not the Boston Bruins, who else would be interested in Keith Yandle? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Bruins.